All right, we are live and we are in effect. This is the Before You Go Pro Locker Room show. I'm pumped up for tonight's show. I know the gentleman that you see on the screen with me is pumped up for tonight's show. We got some hard hitting topics for you guys, and we want to thank you for joining us. Those that tune in every week, thank you for holding us down. Those that are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the show where we cover the football topics that matter to the players, parents, and coaches. So let's get after it, you guys. Q, what's going on, Playboy? You ready for tonight's show?
Oh man, we always ready, man. We about to get it going, man. Let's go ahead and break the huddle.
All right, man. So let's get into it. And we got some heavy hitting topics, man, that we're covering tonight. And if you're joining us for the first time, you guys see down on the ticker at the bottom, that's what we're covering. We get in, we get out, we cover the topics that matter to you. So let us know where you're from. If you're live, if you're hitting us recorded, later on you got a question or something, you can email us. But if you're live, let us know where you're at. Don't be quiet. We want to know your opinion on all of these topics as well. So this is an
Hit that button
interactive
too.
show.
Yeah,
Hit that button. Yep,
Need
we
that
doing this
algorithm.
baby
Make sure you hit
together.
the button.
So definitely. So let's get into it, man. I mean, the first one is big. We've got the Army football players having a good time, man, on spring break. And unfortunately, we got a couple players, Q, man, drug overdose. I don't think they were smoking marijuana. This might have been
Nah.
something else that they were trying. And in Miami, spring break, people passing things out. And a couple of these guys had to be on ventilators, man. So I don't know if you got any old spring break stories or how a
Not
guy
like
can
this.
get caught up. Yeah, not like this, and that's a good thing. But
Man.
some of these young men that may be listening, they may be going on spring break soon. They may be in the future doing the college spring break thing. What was
Yeah.
your thoughts when you saw this?
Well, first, my first concern was these guys are at West Point. Okay.
Yeah,
So when you look at college football, let's make note. Annapolis, Navy, West Point, Army, and the Air Force Academy are going to be or should be held at an even higher standard than all the rest of the Division One football players because
talk to me.
that's our military. See, these kids, if you don't understand how that works, my dad was a 20-year Marine. If you don't understand how that works, these guys are going to end up being officers in our military in this country. That's
Good
scary.
point. Good
You
point.
understand? So they're going to be held at a much higher standard. They have to be because they're about to be officers when they graduate. So that's why this story is so huge. Okay, they're still young people. Sometimes you make bad judgment, but you guys out there, you're especially, you're in school. You've earned, a scholarship. You don't throw it away on something stupid. I've seen, too many guys, man, even, not maybe not this extent, but break an arm, break a leg, tear an ACL hooping on spring break. Now your season's a wrap. Be careful out there. Have fun. I know it's girls out there, all of that. We get that. Don't forget why you're there. Don't forget
No,
why you're
that's a
there.
great point. That's a great point, Q. And obviously, you guys, if this can happen to guys that are, like Q said, these are military. These are young men that after they finish school, play ball, they've got a military commitment, and
Mm-hmm.
they're falling prey to this type of, behavior, and they're having fun, but somebody almost died. So you guys keep that in mind. We're on to our next topic, Q, and this is one man that always kind of brings up some debate,
Oh
with
yeah, yeah.
especially when you talk to people that went to HBCUs. But recent article, the 51 greatest HBCU players in NFL history, and man, there's some dogs,
Oh, it's some,
some
yeah, it's some killers
some
on
bona
that
fide
list.
Hall of Famers.
Yes,
And
sir.
I mean, even my alma mater, Colorado, we just got our first football Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's some HBCUs that got multiple. You know,
Oh yeah,
so
understand.
when you look at what the touchdown wire put, man, their top five were Rice,
Yeah.
Walter Payton,
Walt P. Yeah.
understandable, Deacon Jones,
Mm-hmm.
Art Shell,
Yeah.
and former Ram Jackie Slater.
Okay.
Now, that's their top five for touchdown wire. Once again, you guys, they put their top 51. You guys should definitely see the article. But Q, talk to me a little bit. At least tell me who would be your top three. Would you stick with who they got,
I
Rice,
wouldn't.
Walter, Deacon, or
Mm.
would you change it up a little bit?
Nah, I change it up just a little bit. Jerry's at the top of the Jerry and Walt
Jerry,
P. Those are interchangeable. Who I would have as my
your list
top.
ain't valid if Jerry ain't at the top.
Yeah, yeah. You killing the whole list if Jerry's not on. I got Aeneas Williams out of Southern.
Oh,
I
okay,
got Aeneas, and I got him
okay,
my top three for sure, for
okay,
sure.
okay.
Yeah,
Would he
that's
be
who I
number
got.
two, or is he behind Walter?
He's behind Walt P.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I love that one. That one was kind of a curveball for me. I would have uh quarterback, rest in peace. From Tennessee. I'm slipping my name right
yeah,
now for
yeah. I
some
got
reason.
Steve.
And the
Yeah,
reason why
yeah,
is because quarterback is different. Alcorn State, help me out a little bit here.
Steve McNair.
Um,
Yeah,
McNair.
Steve
Yep.
Aaron McNair.
I would
And
go
then yeah,
McNair because quarterback,
yeah,
especially coming out of HBCU,
yeah.
pretty much hands
But
down
you got
first
Doug
round.
Williams too, though. Now,
Yeah, and Doug won it, but Steve was kind of more perennial,
yeah,
looked
yeah, I
at,
can agree
you
with that.
know.
Yeah,
But I like the Aeneas Williams one. That was a big one too. So if you guys, hey, HBCU, your top three, put it in the chat. Let us know later on
yeah, definitely
social
like to know
media,
that for sure.
your
Yeah,
HBCU top three
yeah,
on that one. Now
yeah,
let's get into spring ball. Now, spring ball is something that we all went through, and this is something that the young men are going through right now, Q,
right.
at the college campuses. Many of them. I know some are switching it up a little bit, but the spring ball, for those that don't know, that's when a lot of these young men end up competing. They're going up against their own team. Right here, you see Boston College playing up against their own team. They're doing scrimmages, drills, and obviously there's the spring game too. So some guys unfortunately do get injured. Some
Yeah.
guys either move up the depth chart, they move down the depth chart, they get kicked off the team from spring ball. But I'm asking you, Q, because when we look at the NFL, man, the NFL doesn't have spring ball. Do you think spring ball is really necessary for these colleges, or do you think it's something that definitely should go on?
Well, I tell you what, Coach. That's a great question. I believe that this NIL situation is going to change spring ball because now that these boys are making that kind of money, spring
Yep.
ball is going to get more and more obsolete because I'm not going to be in college and I'm already making a mill or better and I'm potentially getting destroying the chances of me making even more NIL money because I'm getting injured in spring ball. We talking about practice. We
We're talking
practice,
about
not a
practice.
game, not a game. We talking about practice. So no,
And also
absolutely,
limiting some of their opportunities too, do these
absolutely. So
partnerships
so
and
you
different things.
need right. So you need spring ball is good. You need to, like I said, you need to know where you're at. You need to keep the
Okay,
rust knocked off. But I feel like that it needs to be it's going to eventually be condensed, and you're not going to
okay,
see. You may and may not going forward see a spring game, or it might be shortened. You're going to see a lot less full throttle scrimmaging. The
okay.
kids are just not going to do it, or at least your ones. If it's spring, if you do see spring, it'll be like twos and threes or something. But you won't see your ones in there bumping heads.
That's a
Now,
good point. So if I've got a Adrian Peterson type running back, I've got a Caleb Williams that's at SC, and Q's the coach. Is he in spring ball or no?
he is. I mean, we're strapping it up. We're going through drills. I mean, like I said, you got to stay, in regards to conditioning and making sure the rust is knocked off. But like I said, when you're talking about, maybe going third or shell, 7-on-7, but you talking about like a full go scrimmage, doing Oklahoma drills and nah, no way. It's no way.
So you're not having it. You're
Nah,
not
you'll
having
have a
it.
seat. Nah,
All right. Well, we are on to our next topic, and thank you guys for joining us, whether live or recorded. We appreciate you guys. This one is another big one, Q, and you know, $8 million recently reported, man, for a high school football player, and
Yes,
I'm
sir.
talking about a 2023 kid. So now we're talking about young men that haven't even finished high school ball,
At all,
man,
right?
that
Yeah.
are being presented these contracts. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, how does this happen? There are a couple of states where a high school athlete, it's not just football, any sport
Yeah,
can
it's
be
wide
offered
open.
NIL deals, and
Hmm.
it's wide open.
Wide
It's
open.
open market. So the market is talking with this young man, and there's speculation to who it may be. It hasn't been announced yet, but we know it's a quarterback. I can tell you that. So $8 million for a high school kid before he gets to college. Q, what's your thoughts on that, man? I mean, is that too much? Is it open market? You're down for it? What's your thoughts?
I mean, no, I'm down for it. I mean, again, man, this is business. This kid, I'm sure has played the majority of his life, put in the work, put
Yep.
up the stats, made the plays. So no, it's not about that. What the issue is, Coach, when you and I have had multiple discussions on and off the air, it's gonna be, how does this kid manage this money? How do you not let this go to their head where they do stupid stuff like the Army players did, because you have money and it
Good
gives you
point.
access to more things that you would normally not have, having that kind of money that young. We're talking about a teenager. You just got your driver's license a little while ago. Now you're sitting on a couple of mil like that. These kids, like we were saying, these kids are going to be in high school and need agents already. It's coming. It's inevitable, because if it's money involved and deals involved, you're gonna have to have agents eventually to to help the parents along with the kids as well. And it's gonna have to be some type of, we were talking about college. It's going to be some type of high school curriculum now for the athletes, to be able to in regards to money management, in business classes, things of that nature. Man, it's inevitable.
And for those who are just joining us, we're talking about the NIL deal that a high school kid has recently received. We're talking $8 million. And Q, I mean, as far as his high school coach, I mean, if this kid throws 3 interceptions one game, can you sit down a kid that's got an $8 million NIL deal? I mean, how does this work now in this new era, man?
I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, Coach, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, $8 million. You're talking about, like, imagine that this kid is making more. Forget the coach; he's making more than the superintendent of the whole school district. Forget
In
the
the
coach
state?
in the state. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, Saban makes 9 a year,
Wow.
and this is the tip of
Wow.
the iceberg. Like we said, we're just getting started with this NIL situation.
Amazing. So we are on to our next topic. And you guys, hey, this is big time stuff. So these things are real time. We talk about them here in the locker room to make you guys aware, maybe throw some education on it. But you guys need to be researching and aware of what's going on. This is what's going on. This is new market value. High school kids are getting paid. So you guys, tap into this. Ohio State player. This one was another one.
Yeah,
If you're talking
yeah.
about a young man that's close to maybe getting to the bag, it's the kids at Ohio State. And right here, we've got an Ohio State football player that has decided to retire. Had a chance to make some money, and he's decided to retire because of mental health concerns. And I want to ask you from a couple different angles, man. One, do you think we'll see more of this from college kids? Even we started seeing it from some pro
Mm,
players, but
yeah.
from the college kids. And then two, and this is the real one, man, is do you think the colleges are responsible for these young men' mental health, or do you think it's, hey, every man for themselves?
No, I mean, no, these colleges definitely need to be responsible for sure. It needs to be a number of sports psychologists and mental therapists that are always available to these players. And CTE is a real thing, man. I mean, I know that years ago when unfortunately we lost the great Junior Seau. Matter of fact, T, you remember when we were in Green Bay, our first game, he was there at
Yeah.
the coin flip, remember? And
Yep. Yep.
it was just we lost the legend because we had no idea what it was. And now obviously we have a better grasp on it, really have a good understanding. But it's always going to be that possibility because this is a violent sport. We're constantly trying to improve the equipment, but this is a violent sport. We signed up for it, but I think this kid, in my opinion, versus getting to the bag, like you said, Coach, to me, that's a real responsible decision because he was looking at his future like your money can't buy your health back, man, in a lot of cases. It just can't. And the things that CTE can affect you with anger or mood swings or lack of sleep and all these other
Yep.
issues. you
Yep.
can't you can't repair that with a bag. You just can't.
Let me ask you this. A young man decides to hang up his cleats and it's deemed for mental health reasons. Should the school still be on the hook for the scholarship in the academic side of things, or do you think it should just be a even severance?
Oh, absolutely. No, 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 no. The school should still be. They've already made their money. They made their money as soon as the kids showed up. So
Okay.
absolutely, they owe that to these players. Absolutely,
Okay. Okay.
absolutely.
All
And
right.
and to be honest, with you, it should be some type of compensation as well, because almost like workers' comp or something of that nature, because you were injured by basically working the university, being the
Good point.
employer, working for the employer, which is a university. So really, Ohio State should be cutting him a check.
So if it's deemed that, yeah, he does have some mental
Yeah, that's
issues
injury
going
on
on.
the job. Yeah,
Good point. Good point.
right.
I'm sure,
That's why we're
and
gonna
that will
need
be
a
something.
union. Yeah, we're gonna need basically college players are gonna have to develop some type of union, just like the NFLPA eventually, because there's money
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah. And I see hello from the Munoz family in Texas. Thank you for joining us. As always, we appreciate you guys. And we're talking about some real topics. The Munoz family, they've got football players in the home, and these are the things that affect football families. So we want to make sure that you guys are aware of some of the things that are going on. So we are on, you guys, to fan favorite of the show, which is the lightning round. You guys, the lightning round. People are hitting me up through the chat. People are hitting me on the text saying, "Hey, ask you this or ask the guest this, man." So they loving the lightning round, and
Definitely,
we gonna
definitely.
get after it. And for those that are joining us for the very first time, the lightning round is where it's a little bit of a word association where whoever the guest is, and tonight it's our very own Q the Guru, has 60 seconds, y'all. 60 seconds to get as many of our questions, our people, and he has to say the first thing that comes to his mind. Now, hopefully, he keeps it clean and at least PG-13. But
We'll try.
the first thing that comes to his mind, he's got to rattle it off and see how many he can get in 60 seconds. Now, our record is 9. Our record is 9, and I think Q's record is 7 or 8. But
Yeah.
we're gonna see how many he got tonight, and we're gonna keep it moving. Now, the winner at the end of the spring is going to receive a very, very special evening on behalf of the Locker Room Show in your hometown, in your home state, and we're gonna make it happen for you. So, Q, you ready to go? I'm getting my stopwatch ready.
Yeah, break the huddle.
All right.
I want to
And
get this one
once
going.
again, you guys, he's got 60 seconds. We right here on, let me clean this thing right here. And then we are ready to go. So we are starting now. Number one, Terrell Davis, Denver Broncos.
A horse. I got in my top 10 backs of all time Bronco.
Old school, Sterling Sharp, not Shannon, Sterling.
Actually better than his brother, and Haiti hurt his neck. He would have been even better than Jerry Rice, and Jerry will admit to that.
Woo, safety, Brian Dawkins,
Man, the Wolverine.
the Wolverine. Jerry Rice, John Taylor versus Isaac Bruce or Torrey Holt.
Let me get Bruce and Holt.
Ooh, okay,
St.
solid
Louis
right
Rams,
there.
baby, all day.
Bo Jackson poster with the half baseball football or the Dion I cover a third of the world.
Nah, man. Bo Jackson all the way. I still got that one on the wall of my dad's house in my room. Still to this day.
Deshaun Watson.
Man, Hayden couldn't
Quarterback.
get to the Steelers, man. I would have loved him at the Steelers.
Old school Patrick Willis, 49ers. Time. We at 101. Ole Miss Rebel 49er great Patrick Willis was the last one. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6 on that one, but you did have a twist because we did some verses in there. We did some Jerry Rice, John Taylor, and we did some Bo and Dion. I threw you
Yeah,
for a loop
man.
on that one.
Yes, sir.
So,
no, that's all good. That's my I still
you
got
say you
that
still
poster.
got the Bo?
Still. As long as
I
I'm
heard
breathing, that poster's gonna have that one, man. That's my guy. That's
I
my
heard
guy,
that one
definitely.
right there, you
For
guys.
sure.
So we are on to our audience Q&A, and let's see. I see. Well said, protect the player. Yeah, definitely. Munoz family, you got to protect the players. These college programs, you guys know it. It's the real deal. So let's get on to our audience question. And if you're joining us live and you guys happen to have a question, don't hesitate. Please don't hesitate. Q played big time football at the University of Kansas in the Big 12. I played at the University of Colorado, also in the Big 12, but now in the Pac 12. You pick our brain. If you got a question pertaining to recruiting, SAT, ACT, what's going on with your coach, do not hesitate. If your parent got a question, do not hesitate. Put it in the comment, or you guys can email us later. So we're gonna go to one of our own questions. And Q, I'm gonna obviously shoot it to you and see what
for
you
sure.
think.
For sure.
Now we're gonna spin this because this is a kid asking, "Hey, is this school kind of leading me on, or is this something that I should pay attention to?"
Okay.
So I'm gonna spin it to you though. Um, when you were being recruited, man, I know there were plenty of options that you had,
Yeah.
but what was it about? I don't know whether it was Kansas or you initially committed to LSU, right?
Yeah. That was my initial
Okay.
verbal commitment.
Okay, your initial verbal was to LSU. When you made that decision, was it the recruiting? I don't know if it was the position coach or the head coach, but what was it about them that made you say, I can trust this? That made you say, hey, I feel like what they're telling me is the truth. I feel like I'm going to get an opportunity. Or was it anybody that was recruiting you where you just felt like they were blowing smoke, so to speak?
You know what? I think it was along the lines, of the visit, and
Okay.
just really kind of looking at everything lined up. It was like, you have to look at multiple things when you're getting recruited. You have to look at, how many upperclassmen do they have. You're not going to maybe
Okay.
know who's coming in with you, but you can, obviously ask about what are the upperclassmen looking like. Is there anyone that's leaving early, declaring early for the draft? Um, the program overall, how have they been performing or what? So it's a lot of different factors you're going to look at. And then you have to look at too, like your style of play. I mean, like back in the day, if you're an option quarterback, well, I mean, Nebraska's going to be at the top of your list. You know what I'm saying? So it has to
Of course.
match what kind of your attributes and what you like to do as a player. If you like to pin your ears back at DN, well, then I mean, you need to make sure that you want to go somewhere that runs a 4-3 and make sure that that
Right.
defensive coordinator, position coach, understands really what you like to do and what you're trying to get done as a player, what you're trying to achieve.
And actually, I see my aunt in the chat, and she says, "Does the SAT still play a major factor these days?" And that's interesting that she's
Right.
asking that because I wouldn't have made it to the University of Colorado Q if it wasn't for her helping me with my SAT. So yes, Auntie,
Right.
the SAT is
Yeah,
still huge,
absolutely.
and actually that's a great question, you guys, because some of you young bucks might not know, but you better be prepared for the SAT or the ACT,
Yep.
because it's not just the grades that you're getting in your classes. It's not just what you do on the football field.
Yeah.
It's on a sliding scale where there's
Mhm.
another piece to you getting that scholarship, and it is that test. Because they don't know. They don't know if all your
Yeah.
grades are because people love you on Friday night. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
they have the SAT, ACT, which some say is biased, but they have the SAT, ACTQ to see if you legit, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Oh, absolutely. And the reason, I mean, the
Which one did
reason
you take?
I actually took out of Missouri. We took the ACT. We take the
Okay,
ACT for the most part in the Midwest. But the thing
okay,
is, what a lot of kids forget is sometimes, depending on what day you have to take it, you might have a game that night. Because I remember the first time I took the ACT, we were playing our rival the same night.
dude, dude. I
So,
must have took the SAT 4 times, and my aunt, if she's still in here, she's gonna be probably laughing at this. Um, my dad was so paranoid that I might not pass that test, man. I might still be signed up for the SAT, dude. He had me. We had a day game, a Saturday in Cali. Sometimes they play Saturday game.
yeah,
I
we do
know
too. Right.
Midwest,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we do
So
too.
we
Yeah.
had a Saturday game, dude, midday, like 1:30. I was taking a test when the JV was playing, man.
That
At the
morning. Yeah.
rival at the rival school, Q. Dad had me signed up for a test at the rival school, man.
How did you pull
Not
that off?
dude, they was
That's
looking at me.
crazy.
I'm the quarterback because I played quarterback in
Yeah,
high
yeah,
school,
yeah.
dude. And this wasn't just hey a team we playing at the rival school. I'm taking the test.
Ah,
That's how my dad had me, man, in
ah.
high school. And of course, he might be watching this show too, and he knows I bombed that test. I'm sitting looking out the window at the JV game
Oh
the whole test,
man,
man.
yeah, dude, that's
Luckily,
tough.
we got to where we needed to go, Dad. You know that.
Right.
So, so
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
Munoz family, any other families, young ball players checking this out, man. You can take it as many times as you want. You can take both SAT or ACT. So do your prep a year before, and then junior year after that fall football season, get on that test. Get on that test. All right, man. Well,
Definitely.
Q, hey, dude, that's another one we knocked out, man. Anything on your mind to lead the audience with?
No, no, and definitely. Like I said again, it's spring break. Be safe out there. Be smart. Remember what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve. And just be mindful of your coaches, your teammates, and make sure you get it done and finish up the year strong.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You guys be mindful, be business athletes, student athletes done. We just talked about a high schooler that got millions in the bank, Q.
Yeah,
So this is definitely business, you guys. And then do your homework. Do your homework. And your homework is to subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Before You Go Pro YouTube channel. You'll get all the notifications with the Locker Room Show. You'll know when we're coming on. You know when we're bringing on exclusive guests. You know when we're trying to open the doors to game you up. So make sure that you subscribe, hit the button,
hit that
tell
butt.
the friends, tell your
Hit
teammates,
that
your
butt.
parents, your coaches, and we're live every Thursday bringing you the truth. All right, you guys. So, hey, love you. Q, thanks for bringing it, Playboy, and we'll see you next week, man.
Definitely, definitely. Next week for sure, Coach. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll see y'all.
On up.